Okay. I just want to talk real quick about something that I appreciate called Screen. So basically how Screen works is, let's say, for example, I want to edit a file. And while I'm editing this file, writing a file. Now, while I'm writing this file, let's say I want to do something else. Well, now I have to quit, and let's say I need to check the man page for ls. Okay. Well, now that I'm reading this, maybe I want to do something else as well. So I'll have to exit out of this, and I'll have to go to another program. And while I want to do something, if I'm on a terminal, I'll have to exit out what I'm doing, and I'll have to do something else. I can't do two things at the same time, because that's just not how the console works. But with Screen looks like this. It looks like nothing at all. Basically, it allows me to say, edit a file. Now while I'm editing the file, I can press my hotkey, which in my case is F10, and press C, which brings me to another terminal. Now I can check the man page for ls, and I can check what I need to check, and I can go right back to my first file, which is where Vim is, and I can move back and forth between those, or I can just tap F10 twice to go back and forth. I can start some more, start up Tor, I can start up htop and whatever, and they'll all appear here as, well, simply as the name bash, but if I want to, I can change that with F10, capital A, change this to htop, and then my window list, which I've mapped to lowercase a, you can see that here it's htop, and the rest are just bash. So it's nice to be able to just switch between programs like this, but sometimes you'll have a lot of programs opened. So you might have, like, just for example, let me open up a few windows, and then all of a sudden it gets a little bit difficult to manage. One thing that's kind of sad about Screen is it doesn't automatically rename programs, but I can go Screen, say Screen Nano, and then it will show up as Nano here, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, overall, even if these are all named, it's going to be difficult to organize these, but what's nice is I can do something called a group. So I'm going to do it longhand way. I have a shortcut for this, but I'm just going to go Screen / group, and this is how I start a new group. And basically I'm going to rename this group to G1. Okay. And now I can start adding files. I'm going to rename this to thing1, and then I'm going to start another bash. I'm going to rename this to thing2, and let's do one more just for the sake of it. Rename this to thing3. So now when I check my window list, you'll see thing1, thing2, thing3, and when I press A in the window list and A again, I'll go back to here, and you can see all my old files, all my old programs that are running, but you'll also see my new list of programs that's running called G1, and if I go into this, you can see thing1, thing2, thing3. So it's kind of handy to be able to organize things like that. I can also press G to expand all of my groups, or G again to put them back. What's nice now, but the problem is, whenever I'm doing something on thing1 and I want to go to another folder, I have to go all the way back and out and select another folder or another program. I'll make another folder just for the sake of it. I'm going to set this to G2, and then open up 3 regular bashes on thing G2. So I don't want to have to go, I'm doing editing some kind of file, and then all of a sudden I want to do something else. Well, it's nice to be able to have the things that I'm currently working on in a single folder, but if I have to go out and then go back in, it kind of becomes a hassle, especially if you have a lot of things going on. But that's where layouts come in handy, and with a layout, I'm going to do this a longhand way as well. What I can do is go wherever I need to, and then check my window list, and I'm going to stay in this folder in this layout. I'm going to start another layout. I'm going to do the shortcut way this time. And with this, basically, I can, for this layout, okay, so I'm going to go to G2 for this layout, I'm going to go to my first layout, and I'm going to be in G1, right? And if I go to my second layout again, I'm in G2, and my first layout, I'm in G1, right? So, and I can do that by going layout next, which is G2. I'm going to say G2 on the terminal just so I know where I am, and then in this one, G1. So you can tell that I'm in, by switching my layouts with layout next or layout prev, I can change what folder I'm in, and I don't have to go all the way up and then around. I just have to change my layout. And another nice thing about layouts, real quick, is that I can have a split, and I'm doing that with the pipe F10 and the pipe symbol. And while I'm split, well, I don't want to run all my programs this way, especially me, since I have a 4x3 monitor. I don't want to use a lot of space on all my programs, but it's nice if I'm just listing some things out, or if I'm editing from some very small files with like, you know, what is this, like a 20, 30 columns, you know, small things. If I'm doing small things, then maybe I want to do this. Maybe I'll have a layout for small things. Maybe I'll keep this way. And then for this layout, G1, I'm going to keep it full screen, right? So I can have programs like HTOP running full screen and just have other things going on. I don't know, have Tor running. Oh, Tor already is running. But now I can switch back and forth between those. And that's kind of handy to have. So again, this gets a little bit complicated. I'm going to add one more layout. And I'm going to kill some windows. Okay, I'm just killing everything, but you know. Oops. I accidentally locked my screen. Well, and you know, I'm just closing things up here. But yeah, no, that's just what screen is, really, is it just lets you use multiple terminals by using F10C. And well, I can go to my screen RC file just to show you how things are done here. Basically, I turn off my splash message, and these two keys, these two lines here, escape 377, 377, basically turns my escape key into a nothing key, a key that doesn't exist. And then I bind my escape key, which is also called the command key, to F10. And F10 looks like this for some reason. Basically, if I do Control V and then press F9, it'll look like this. So this is how the computer sees the F9 key, so that's what you would have to put in there in order to bind it to F9. So F10 looks like 21, so that's what I bound it to. Then I changed my term. I don't think you actually need to do this, it hasn't helped, but just in case. One thing that people actually like is having some kind of status line. I don't really care about it, but you know, I'll show you what it looks like anyway. If I start up screen, oh, hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Now, it'll look like this. And it tells me what's going on. You know, this bottom bar here. People like to have this little status bar. I don't see a real reason to have it. I think it takes up too much screen space. I think it's, you know, it's some eye candy, but overall, like, I can do that with the window list, you know? I don't see a real reason to use up that extra screen space, and I know Tmux has this by default. Oops, hold on a sec. Yeah, Tmux, which is what's running now, has like some colors, it has a bar. I'm not really into all that. Some people like tmux. They say it's like amazing compared to Screen. I like it, but again, like I can check out my hostname using hostname. It tells me that I'm running on Goose. I can check my time with date. It tells me the date and time on my current computer, which is pretty much what's being printed out on this line down here. So it's stuff that you don't really need to have 24/7. You know, if I want to know what time it is, I'll just check date. I'll just check date again, and it's fine. If I wanted to know what my host name is, just check my host name or uname, right? It's, I don't know, to me, like the bar is just kind of like, it's candy, like you don't need that. So let me just go back to the screen RC file, comment that out again. If you prefer it, that's fine. If you have a large monitor, that's cool. I don't, so I like to save some space. But yeah, no, that's really all there is. There's not much else to say about it. I can check info, tells me what's going on, what my character encoding is. It's fine. But that's all I just really wanted to talk about, was just how nice Screen is, how nice it just is to be able to grab some extra monitors and just have them out here. I guess they are numbered on the side, which is kind of handy, but I do wish that once I start HTOP, the only problem is it doesn't say HTOP here. I'll have to use capital A, switch to HTOP, and that's the one thing that I prefer with tmux, but considering I already configured Screen, it's not a big deal to me. And then I have some other things, like bind A to window list, bind O to colon, and colon is the command key. If you're familiar with Vim, basically escape colon in Vim is the same as F10 colon in Screen. So it's just a command key. Then you got Emacs client. I have a little shortcut for that. I have a shortcut for my XMPP client and a shortcut for my IRC client. It's nice. I have a shortcut for group, new layout, next layout, previous layout, and it's fine. I just remembered something though, but I should talk about is called copy mode. And copy mode, use the F10 escape, brings you into copy mode. And basically, I can move around. I can scroll all the way back up to pretty much everything not everything I've done, but I can scroll decently far depending on how far my scroll back variable has been set. But what's nice about this, oops, I escaped by accident. What's nice about this is I can go, and this is Vim binding, so it's L and H for left and right, and then J and K for up and down. So I'm not too familiar with Vim bindings, but I find that it's fine because I use Vim often enough. So I'm going to press space, and as you can see, I'm starting to select some stuff, and then I'm going to press return to copy it. Now, let's say that I want to paste that into a file. I do F10, and then I do the closing square bracket. Oops. And everything that I selected is now inserted. So that's kind of handy to have. It's incredibly handy to have that copy and pasting sort of thing going on in the command line, especially if you're a Unix user, since Unix users are display server breaks every other day, so being able to be efficient in the command line is kind of essential. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to talk about that. Have a great day. Stay safe.